Right, so I went through this game you sent me, and I think you actually played quite well. There was just one major mistake. I'll quickly go through the game because I want to get to the point where you actually made the mistake. Up to that point, everything is fairly standard. Okay, I actually think that's a nice idea because you want to land your knight on d4. And the reason you want to land your knight on d4, of course, is partly because of this weakness on d6, this weak pawn. You want to close up the d file so that d6 pawn doesn't become too much of a weakness. And now you've got the problem solved in any case because white has to take with the pawn, and now your d6 weakness has been solved. Okay, rook c8. I was thinking maybe about the move bishop f6 here. The point being that if he takes on e5, you can take back with the bishop, and the central pawns of white can be blocked, and your bishop will be very strong on e5. Probably if you play bishop f6, white won't take, but I think this will help you get a better grip on the center. The move bishop to f6. Okay, so rook c8. Right, now it's not an immediate problem, but in the long term this pawn is going to be a problem for you because it's a passed pawn and it's a protected passed pawn. And if this game just had to go to the end game, then you're going to have a problem. The reason why you're going to have a problem is you will always need a piece to cover for this passed pawn. Right, now white has two very strong central pawns, but he does have the problem with his exposed king, and you can always just start attacking the king, start checking the king, and that is something that white has to be careful about. And that is why his advantage is not as big as it might seem if you see the two central pawns, because white has a problem with the king safety. Okay, so that's basically the only real mistake you made in the game, is the move pawn to f6. At this stage of the game, your main advantage over white is the fact that his king is exposed. And there might always be tactics where you can start checking his king and expose weaknesses in his position. So white has a problem with king safety. You don't. Your king is pretty safe. White's only advantage is that he's got these strong two pawns here in the center, but at the moment you've got that under control. So a normal move, even just a move like h6 or rook to c4, something like that, would have been much better here. But the move f6 is where the problem starts, because your king safety gets exposed. And now after e6, I think it's clear that you're starting to lose. That's unfortunate because you played very well up to that point, and just that one move f6 cost you the game. Okay, so I think the lesson you can take from that is king safety is a very important principle in chess, because your king is so vulnerable. The moment the king is exposed, there's often tactics, and the tactics often appear out of nowhere. It's almost impossible to calculate all the tactics that become possible once the king is exposed. So try to keep that in mind. Only open your king if it's absolutely the last thing you could have done. Alright, I hope you learned something from this review. Cheers.